What's good, YouTube? DM Gaming here, guys. Man, guys, I'm gonna get to it, man. I've been playing Road to Glory because Madden. I got the early access to Madden, which I'll do a video talking about Madden. I am enjoying Madden. It is a bit more immersive of an experience that it brings nostalgia from the older Madden days. Although I'll have to talk about that later. I want to talk about college football because, guys, I've been playing. I started playing Road to Glory because I want to be able to take my player to the NFL. Um, I made a quarterback, guys, and I went to the University of Texas. I wanted to see how it felt to bring my character from my player from having to work up the depth chart, and it's crazy. Steve Sarkisian came out the gate in the recruiting process and told me like, hey, I got my quarterback for this year. And I really got my quarterback for next year. I was like, that's fine. I know Arch is there. He ended up leaving. And so it was me and the other guy competing for the number 2 spot. Guys, if you're not getting in the game, it's hard to Coach Happiness is a mother. Coach Happiness is a freaking beast, guys, because practicing is going to get you to where you can get to the point where you can compete for a starting role, a backup role, or bumping up the depth chart. But guys, if you're not starting to where you're getting playing time, do not simulate practice. And I hate that, but at the same time, I get it. I understand. If you simulate practice, you'll get like plus 37 coach trust, but you don't get any coach happiness. So you're not going to move up the depth chart. And I don't actually, to be honest with you, even practicing, I don't think you get any coach happiness from it. Like the only thing practice gives you is coach points. So your coaches end up not being very happy with you. And so you can even be demoted. I was even demoted at one point. I went from second string to third string because of coach happiness. And it's crazy because I wasn't getting in games. I was practicing and, I was getting consecutive bronze. I was doing this all on Heisman, by the way. But then I got to the point where I was able to get golds and things like that. Ended the year. I stayed 1 year at Texas and then I stayed the next year. And finally, guys, I just freaking transferred. I transferred to Notre Dame, where I'm the starting quarterback. Notre Dame at this point is they're 94 overall, 94 on offense. It's a good team. And it's crazy because, we sit here and talk about these college players and how they don't, it's, oh, man, look at us in the game. I want to be on the field playing. Can you imagine in real life, like what college player is okay with riding the bench? Probably not a lot of them. They want to be out there playing. You know what I'm saying? And because I can see the writing on the wall and I can see the challenges that are before me, now the transfer portal gives me that opportunity to say, I don't want to take the risk of having to ride behind this other guy. And the way that the game is structured, even if you're not starting, you really can't really build coach happiness. You'll have to build your leadership up, but then you're jeopardizing your studying and things like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is a legitimate challenge. And yeah, you're going to get some people. I don't think many people playing this game is going to sit there behind another quarterback for 3 years of college. And so I transferred. And I think a lot of us in that situation will transfer. It's amazing how this game is set up. It's extremely realistic in that regard. But I would say this, there needs to be a way to build coach happiness outside of achieving stuff in the game. I do like the fact that practice does that. That you can get coach trust. But you really can't build coach happiness in a way. I guess you can't lose it, rather. But it gives you like a +0. If you simulate practice, you get a +0, which means that it shouldn't move up or down. But your leadership, guys, if your leadership is not up, you're going to be losing like -3 coach happiness every week. And it's crazy. Overall, the mode is interesting, man. It really makes you consider the position that you play, really makes you consider the teams that you go to. And then, like I said, practice is, oh my gosh, it's a grind. And then balancing everything on top of that, it's not a bad experience. My biggest complaint with Road to Glory was the camera angles, and they fixed that, and it makes a world of difference playing the mode. Only thing I would like is to be able to control the entire team or offense. Like, yeah, I'm controlling my quarterback if I'm playing quarterback, but I throw to these wide receivers and they just, some of them do really well. They make good moves. They follow blocks and stuff like that. And then others don't, which I get it. It's an awareness thing and things like that. But I remember in previous Maddens in Superstar mode, you were able to control, you could toggle it on and off. And that's all I say. Give us the option to toggle on and off to be able to control all of our offensive or defensive players for that matter in Road to Glory. You know, and I get the immersive part of it is because you're playing that one position and, you know, hey, you can't, if I'm playing quarterback, I can't play the other guys on the field in real life. And so you do have to depend on your teammates to make plays and things like that. But there's times wherever them making a play affects you negatively. And I'm not talking about getting a first down or getting a win. You know what I'm saying? I might be in practice and I'm throwing a wide open pass and I hit the receiver in the hands and he drops the ball. I get a negative impact to my character for that drop pass. And the game, in my opinion, should recognize, hey, that was a great throw. The receiver is at fault for dropping this particular pass, so we're not going to give you a negative mark. But the game doesn't do that yet. And I think that, you know, the whole structure of Road to Glory, and I've played running back, I've played cornerback, there needs to be an overhaul of how the game rewards you and how it demotes you. You know, they did a decent job of patching that on defense to where, you know, you don't really get negative marks for somebody else making a bad play on defense. Offensively, they still do that. You can throw a perfect pass to a wide open receiver. It can hit them in the hands and they can drop it. And you're going to get a negative mark for an incomplete pass. That to me is stupid. Now, if you overthrow the guy, yeah, you should get that negative mark. If you underthrow him and he drops it, you know what I'm saying? But have something in the game to say, hey, that was a perfect pass. Or that was an accurate pass. The receiver just dropped it. We're not going to give you the negative mark for it. And you're going to get a small positive bump because you did throw an accurate, on-time, open pass. You get what I'm saying? And that's something that we could think about for the future of the game with College Football 27. You know, they really tackled Dynasty mode this year. I believe that we could see an overhaul to how Road to Glory is done next year. You know, they brought in recruiting. They did do some stuff to it. They brought in the high school recruiting and stuff that we didn't have last year. So they did bring in some stuff. Next year, I could see them adding more positions, making it more in-depth. I really am going to be thinking about an overhaul to how they do the weekly agenda. I know people like it, but it is extremely it's repetitive. And I know that even in real life, it's repetitive. You do the same thing every day, every week in college football, unless you have a short week or a bye week. But it's all pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to go to the drawing table and I'm going to look and say, what can we implement to make this a less of a grind? You know, I think even being able to simulate more than just a game at a time would be good because there's instances where it's like, I really don't want to play through this season. Like I'm a backup. I'm a third string guy. I'm not going to be the starter by the end of the year. Or add something in the off season, add a spring practices, spring games. I think that would be really cool. That could break up the monotony of Road to Glory because it's a very monotonous mode, outside of Dynasty. And like I said, the mode is fun. It is fun. I enjoy the camera angle. It makes it completely different experience. Like I said, if I could change anything right now, it would be the ability to be able to control my entire offense. like I said, the playbook isn't open to you guys, but if you do know huddle, if you do a no huddle, then you get the freedom to be able to choose all kinds of plays that were originally not available to you. So take that with, and use that. That does help as well to be able to open up the offense for you and defense too. But I'm enjoying it. It is fun. I need to live stream, guys. I don't know why I do this to myself where, it seems like my role as a content creator is more geared on covering games before they drop. One thing that I need to work on is creating content as the game is going. I would just say this: it's a lot of work doing a live stream, guys, because I'm live streaming for hours, and I really can't dive into it and really enjoy the game how I want to enjoy the game and be completely immersed into the game, because you have to look at your chat, you have to engage with your audience, which that's not a negative. It's a fun thing to do, but you're not as immersed in the game, if that makes sense. So I need to set up a live stream schedule, maybe like Sundays, because like I said, I know people have school during the week. I know people have work during the week. And then like the weekends, Friday night football, Saturday is college, Sunday is the NFL. So I will have to find a time to set up a schedule to be able to stream and have some fun. I am not considering, I am going to be doing a podcast where we talk about, I do want it to be sports centered, but also kind of just a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? Have some segments in the podcast where we do talk about other topics and engage in other things in an interactive way. I am going to be doing it on YouTube. I don't want to do it on Twitch. I do want to do it on YouTube. So we are going to be doing that, bringing out the podcast. It's in the developmental phase as far as getting the name for the podcast and the structure and things of that nature. A good buddy of mine, me and him is going to be doing it. And then a kid that I used to coach, I'm trying to get him in on it as well. So it's a work in progress, but I'm looking forward to it. Just wanted to update y'all on that as well. But guys, that's all I got for right now, man. I got to get back in the groove of making these videos because I got goals and I'm not doing what it takes to reach those goals. So let me know what y'all think about the Road to Glory in the comment section down below. For those of y'all who really love the mode, like what would you improve on it? And what do you enjoy most about it? Till next time, y'all, thanks for watching. Peace.